99.5 WKDQ, today's best country. We are gearing up for the Sandy Lee Watkins Songwriters Festival, and I've got one of the great songwriters that is going to be there July 30th through August the 2nd. We've got Tony Arata on the phone. Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thanks for calling, Eric, and glad to speak with you.
Well, I got to tell you, personally, this is the one songwriter that I had to have on, and this is, let me tell you why, Tony, because there's a couple reasons, and I don't like to make this all about me, but let me tell you, I'm going back to a blog that I did on WKDQ.com, and I'm looking at the dates, February 7th, 2012, celebrating Garth Brooks' 50th birthday. I listed my top 50 songs by Garth Brooks because I'm a big Garth fan. And my number one and number two, The Dance and The Change. So I had to look up that list when I called you today because you might have had something to do with those two songs.
Well, that is very kind. I really appreciate that. And, there's some folks in your life you're just so very grateful that you had the chance to meet. I met Garth right after I moved here in 1986. And he's been a dear friend ever since. And it was just one of those things where you couldn't plan any of this stuff. It just has to play out. But he did, he made The Dance his own song. I mean, the record that he and Alan made and the musicians that were on that, it's a far cry from what I handed in as an acoustic guitar, vocal demo. And that really proves that there are artists in this world as well. And The Change was a song I wrote with a gentleman by the name of Wayne Chester. Wayne actually had the completed melody for the song, but he didn't have any words. And he gave me the kind gesture of letting me ride around with that song for, I don't know, maybe a month or so and allow me to write the lyrics to the song. But that's where they both came from. And I can't think of anything that means more to me than to know that at the end of the day, that both those songs were done by a gentleman who I met as a songwriter, and who to this day, that's really what I think of him as a songwriter. He's written so many of his great hits and co-written them, and he's just he's a jack of all trades, but ultimately I'll always think of him as a songwriter. And I can't give a bigger compliment to anybody than that.
Yeah, there's something about it. I mean, you can go out there and perform a song, but you have to have the message, and the message of a song like The Dance, which is my favorite song of all time by my favorite artist of all time, and I guess by proxy, that's going to make you my favorite songwriter of all time. So it's very cool to talk to you.
I appreciate that very much. And, I have to share this story with you. For all songwriters, this is a songwriter festival, and we've all had our share of, it's all a war of attrition. You have to stand in there and keep swinging. That song, I played that song for Garth right after I'd written it. We did an early show at the Bluebird Cafe here in Nashville, and I had just written the song, and he said, man, if I ever get a record deal, I'm going to do that song. Of course, at the time, he didn't have a record deal, and another 3 years went by before he actually got signed to Capitol Records. But the minute he did, he called for that song. And thankfully, it was still available. So you just never know as a songwriter. The greatest thing that ever happened to my song was to be turned down for 3 years by everybody and their brother, because it wound up with exactly the person who was supposed to do it all along, who got it from the very first time that they heard it. They didn't have to be convinced to do it. It meant something to them, and they took it and made it their own record and their own song. But, at the time, you don't know that being told no is really going to work out in the end.
Right. Yeah, and there it is. And, here it is, how many years, 25 years later, that song is still as popular as ever. And for those who don't know the song, they're about to know it over the next few years, I would imagine, now with Mr. Brooks coming back out on tour. So
yes, and I tell you what, I think everybody's glad about this. I mean, I don't know of as I said, I'll always think of him as a songwriter, but then I've seen him as an entertainer as well. And there's really just, you'd have to look, long and hard to find somebody that understands the meaning of entertainment and reaching out to an audience more so than any. I had to pick up the phone and call and text him after his induction of Billy Joel into the Kennedy Center honors. He sang 2 of Billy Joel's songs. He sang "Goodnight Saigon" and "Allentown." Mm-hmm. And I just went. I don't know many people that could pull that off with the absolute professionalism that he did. There was one moment they panned on Billy Joel's face, and he even looked a little taken aback that, this guy's really, really good. So I think everybody's got to be glad that he's going to be back out there on tour and with new songs, and he's like the rest of us old folks. He's finally entering the digital age, and that's a whole new thing. So all of it's exciting, and he's I can't think of it, but that his reemergence is going to be good for all things music. He's always been the consummate entertainer and so loyal to the folks who he works with and who work for him, and I think it's just a great thing.
Well, and I can only hope that you guys get together again and make something that's as epic as you have in the past. So,
well, I'll hope for that too. I just graduated one of my girls from college, and I've still got one at the University of Denver. So, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I bet.
It's just like, hey, we're all still trying to raise kids and whatnot. So it's I appreciate all the help I can get.
There you go. Well, besides the Garth tunes that we've talked about, there's plenty of artists that you've written for, from Emmylou Harris to Patti Loveless to Clay Walker, and you will be kind of showcasing all of those when you come to town for the Songwriters Festival. Do you know what days you're going to be doing some shows? I'm playing Thursday, the 31st, doing 2 shows on the 31st, and looking forward to it. I think I'm playing with Fred Knobloch, and one of the shows I know I'm doing with Fred Knobloch, who, of course, wrote, If My Heart Had Wings for Faith Hill and stuff for George Strait, and Rob Crosby, who just had a number 1 single here not long ago, and who has written for Martina McBride, among many others. So it ought to be fun. They're just great people. I got the chance to play with people I haven't ever had a chance to last year, and play in different clubs. And I didn't meet anything but good folks there in Henderson. It was just a truly memorable occasion. I can't wait to get back up there. Well,
I'm just hoping I paid the tab in whatever bars I was in. Well, we'll find out when I get back there if I did or not.
We'll just tell them it's supposed to be Carrie Kurt Phillips that takes care of that, and then they'll take care of it.
Well, I tell you what, you talk about a class act. I'm telling you, and what a remarkable songwriter, and just a genuinely good soul. I love Carrie Kurt, and that's just one of those things where somebody just decides they want to do something, and they just they make it happen.
Yeah,
and he's done a lot of good for the community, and he's just a stand-up guy, and I thank the world of him and his family. I really do.
Yeah, he's very passionate about it, but very humble at the same time. But it turns out to be a great event, and I will be very excited to see you play this year and all of the songwriters at the Sandy Lee Songwriters Festival in Henderson. You can check out sandyleesongfest.com for all the schedules and details. Tony Arata, thank you so much for giving us a call today.
Eric, thank you for your kind words, and I look forward to seeing you up there. And thanks to KDQ here.